Welcome to One Stop Java Solutions. I am Snehasis and today I am going to solve TCS Proctored online Proctored assessment of 14th November. Okay. So before moving forward, first read the assessment carefully and then we will try to solve it. Okay. So here you can see it's a Baker management system. Okay. So Baker's management system, here you can see that create a class Bakers with below attributes. Okay. So there is five attributes. Okay, baker id, baker's name, baker class, baker rating, and online delivery. Okay, so the above mentioned attributes should be private because it's a oops features. I already explained in my previous videos that while you are declaring some attribute, that you have to means it is good practice to make them private because it's basically the concept of data hiding. Okay, so once you make this private, then you cannot access those attribute outside of the class directly. You have to either access them through setter or getter methods, or you can initialize values at the time of uh, while you are creating object of that class by using the constructor that I will show. Okay, don't worry. Then here you can see setter and getter and parameterized constructor as required. Okay, so here you can see that you have to create a baker class. Okay, and the means every Java class should be start from the main method. Okay, every Java program should start from the main method, so you have to write the main method, and inside the main you can see you have to write these two methods. Okay, so find delivery type and the this short baker's rating of class. Okay, rating of class in solution class. Okay, and so create a class solution in main method. Okay, so this part you have to implement. So for that I am going to Eclipse. Okay, and here you can see I already create a project, and inside that project if you go to src, here you can see there is several package I already created. So for this assessment also I am creating one package. This is for November 14th. Okay, so new, create a package first and give the name like TCS PA or OPA. You can give the OPA as well because it is an online proctored assessment. So TCS OPA, and it's for 14th November. Okay, so I'm creating this package, and inside this package I am creating one class, giving the class name as solution because this is the solution class which will contain your main method solution. And the that which class will contain the main method, that class must be public. Okay, so I am defining that as a public. Okay, and you need to create the main method as well, so select this one. So these facilities you can, while you are using any id like Eclipse or NetBeans, so these facilities you can use here. So if you select this checkbox, so automatically main method will be created. You don't have to write the code for main method. Okay, so the method code will be ready. You will get here, you can see that a class solution is created. Okay, and the class is containing the main method, so public static void main string args. So this is the prototype of main method. This is already inside this class. Okay, now what I'll do, you have to create another class bakers. Okay, so here you can see that you have to create a class bakers. Okay, so to create that class, so here outside of the solution class, here I am creating another class, and this class I make it as a default. Okay, class bakers, and this class will take these parameters. Okay, so copy these parameter names from here. This baker class will contain these five parameters. Okay, or attributes. So these are the attributes this class is containing. So I am writing this, gives a semicolon after each line. So this is basically means this is basically indicate that the means end of a statement, this semicolon. Okay, so copy this line, and you have to make all these attribute as private. So I am giving, writing private here. Okay, so these attribute means the value of this attribute you have to read inside the main method. Okay, these attributes. So for that I am declaring all the variables here as well. Okay, and inside this baker class I make this attribute as a private, so that you cannot access those attribute outside of this baker class directly. You have to create the object, and using that object you have to call the setter and getter methods. Okay, so I am writing the setter and getter methods here. So here in this id you can just right click, and here you can see there is a source option. If you go to this source, then you can see that the generate getter and setters option is there. So just click on this link, and then here you can see select all attributes. So you have to write the getter and setter methods for all the attributes. Okay, so and then click on ok. So here you can see that the setter and getter methods is means code is already come up here. Okay, so here you can see that so suppose for this is a boolean type. So here you can see that the getter method is online delivery. Okay, so it is a the field name is online delivery. So the method name it's came automatically like is online delivery, and it's return some boolean values. Okay, so it's return boolean values, and here you can see that the return type. Okay, and while you are setting, so here you can see that set for setter method of this boolean value is set online delivery, and it's expecting some boolean values. So for that it's takes some parameters like boolean online delivery, and this dot online delivery equal to online delivery. So these online delivery basically whatever you are passing as a parameter. Okay, so this online delivery is this, and this dot online delivery, this is basically your attribute. Okay, whatever you have declared here, like here you can see that private boolean online delivery. So this online delivery is the left side, means this dot delivery. So this is your attribute, and this is the parameter what you are passing. Okay, here you can change the name as well. So here instead of online delivery you can give something, suppose x, then you can assign the x values to this variable. Okay, that also you can do, but it's a good programming practice. And here this is referring to the current object. Okay, so while you are calling this get setter method. Okay, so I just told you that while you are calling setter method you have to first create an object, and then using that object you can call these setter and getter methods. Okay, so on which object you are calling, that object reference is basically indicating this by this keyword you are indicating that object reference. Okay, so if you suppose create 5 object reference, and at a time you can call with one object, you can call this getter method. So which object you are calling this method, so this keyword is referring to that object reference. Okay, so 5 different set of object will get all the attributes, and every time if you call the setter method, so that attribute only populated with these values. Okay, this parameter you are passing with that value, that object attribute will be populated, not others object. Okay, now setter and getter methods is done, then we are creating constructor. So for constructor creation also you can click on the go to source, then go to generate constructor. Here you can see that generate constructor using fields. So select that. So all the parameters are already selected. Click on ok, and here you can see that the constructor name should be same with your class name. So your class name is bakers. Okay, so here you can see that constructor name also bakers, and constructor there is no return type. Okay, for function if you don't return anything, then you can see here it's a void. But for constructor, if you means there should means not, you cannot write any return type, not even void. Okay, so there should be no return type, and all the parameter list you can see in the sequence: baker id, then baker's name, then baker class, Okay, baker rating, all the parameters name is there. Okay, and you are assigning these attribute values, these parameter values to the attribute of this class. Okay, there is 5 attribute, so 5 attribute value is populating with this parameter whatever you are passing while you are creating object. That I will show you. Okay, so the implementation of this baker class is done. Okay, so this is the baker class. Now here you can see inside the main method what you have to do. If you read this assessment once carefully, here you can see that setter and getter methods create a class solution with main method, implement two static method, find delivery type and sort baker's rating of class in solution class. So inside solution class you have to write these two method. Okay, so for that what I'll do, first I am writing, and if you read the method, first method, the method will find out the delivery type method, find delivery type method. This method take two parameters, array of the baker's object and integer value of baker id. Okay, so first I am declaring this method inside solution class. So this is your solution class. So main method is already there, so after main method I am writing public static, I don't know the return type now, so I am writing void, then this is the method, and okay, so this is the method signature basically. And now you can see that this method, find delivery method, this method will take two parameters, array of bakers object and int value of baker id. So it will take two parameters. Okay, so that I am writing here. So here I am writing bakers object and I am giving the name that baker b object. Okay, and another parameter is the int baker id, baker id. So these two parameter, this method will take these two parameter. Okay, and then you can see here that this method will find the delivery type of a given baker id based on the boolean values of the online delivery. The method will return string values online available if online available is true. Okay, else the method will return the string values of online not available. If no workers with the given baker id is present in the array of baker object, then method should return null. Okay, then the another one, sort baker rating class. This method will take two parameters, baker object and character values for the baker class as a input parameter. So now I am writing this one, public static void. I am not even know what is the return type, so I am, as of now I am writing void as a return type, then I will change it. Okay, and these also take this baker object. Okay, array of a baker object, and it's taking a character. Okay, a character value of baker class. Okay, here you can see that values of baker class. Okay, so to input it's also parameter it takes. Okay, so this method is taking two parameters. So signature is done, then I will implement the rest of the portlet. Now the method, okay, now if you scroll down here you can see, before calling those static method in main, use the scanner object to read the values of the four baker object. So every baker object is containing 5 attribute, so you have to create 4 baker objects. Okay, and you have to store in a baker array. Okay, that will that can contain baker object. Okay, and then next read the values, two values, baker id and baker class. Okay, so you have to total 5 means 4 object you have to create, so that means 4 into 5 20 values you have to read. So that I will do here. Okay, and so before reading, first you have to create here one array of bakers object. Okay, so that I am creating bakers, one bakers array I am creating and giving the name baker object the same name that we have passed as a parameter equal to new, and I am new bakers and it will contain four objects, so I am mentioning the values as 4. So while I am creating this object, I just mentioning the size is 4. Okay, and then using scanner class I will read the values. Okay, so for that I am creating a scanner class object, scanner sc equal to new scanner then system dot in. So I am passing system dot in as a argument or parameter because scanner class, what it will do basically, scanner whatever you are giving input from system console, okay, that values it will take and it will assign those values into the corresponding variables, okay, or attributes. So here so you to use this scanner class you have to import, because it is in java.util package. So java.util.scanner, this value means this package you have to import here, okay, to take the facilities of the code facilities of the scanner class. Okay, so this is done. Now you have to create four, means you have to first picked up the values, means these 5 attribute values from the console, and then you have to create a bakers object, and that bakers object you have to store in this bakers array. Okay, so for that I am writing one for loop for int I equal to 0, I less than 4, because I have to iterate this loop 4 times. Okay, and I plus plus. For every iteration what I'll do, I'll read these 5 values. Okay, so first I am reading baker id. Okay, so baker id, this is the integer type. Okay, so for integer type baker id, this is sc dot, so using scanner class I will take the value, so sc dot next int. That means this method will expect one integer values from console, and once it get the integer values, if you provide some integer values from console, it will take that value and it will store this value into this baker id. Okay, then the baker's name, so it is a string. So for that what I will do, baker's name equal to sc dot next line. So this next line method will take an string from console and it will store in the name. And here one thing you have to remember, that after reading integer value, if you try to read a string value, then you have to use sc dot next line once here. Okay, then means any integer or numerical values, after reading any integer or numerical values, if you try to read any string values, then you have to write sc dot next line once before this statement. Okay, then the third one is the character. So for character, how you will read, so for character baker class, this is sc dot next, and then use the caret method. So what it will do, it will take the first character caret and give the index 0. So that means it is a character, means single character it is expecting. So what will do, sc dot next, that means it will, if you give also a line, that also it will take, but it will take the first character only. Okay, so using this method you can pick up a character from console. Okay, then the next one is the double baker rating. Okay, so for that you can use that sc dot next double method. So next double you can see here, next, here you can see next double. Okay, so it will take a double values. Then the boolean, for boolean it's online delivery. So online delivery equal to sc dot next boolean. Okay, okay, so 5 attribute values we have read read from the console and stored in a individual variable. Okay, now I have to create the object of bakers. Okay, and that object I will store in this array b object. So in index I equal to new, and then I will call this constructor. I already write this constructor, so I will call this constructor to create a object of this class, baker class. Okay, so I am calling this constructor, and using new we can call this constructor, and now remove this type of attribute. Okay, because this is not required here. Okay, so what this method will do, so this is a constructor basically, so I am calling the constructor of this baker class with these 5 attribute values, and the constructor will create an object, and that object I am assigning to this baker's array. Okay, so like this way this loop will iterate 4 times, and it will create the 4 object and it will store in this array. Okay, so it's done. Now if you see, here, that after creating 4 object, here you can see next you have to read the values from baker id and baker class. Okay, so baker id and baker class, these two values you have to read once again. So here you can see baker id, so this is the code. This line will pick up a integer values and it will store in a baker id, and the baker class also, it's a character type, so it's picked up one character and stored in the baker id. So till this it's done. Now I have to call these two methods and I will implement the logic. Okay, so for implement the first method, if you go to this assessment, here you can see this is the second method, and the first method, find delivery method, the main method should print the type of delivery as online available or online not available based on the string values returned by the method. So here you can see this method will return a string, so instead of void just make it string. Okay, this will return a string, and inside this method, so I have to declare one string. So string is equal to, initially I am assigning the value is as null. Okay, and I am returning this, return this is. Okay, so it's done. Now you have to implement the logic inside this method. So if you, in every assessment till now whatever I published, you can see that till this part almost same. Okay, only the attribute names and the type of attribute, based on the type of attribute the scanner, which scanner method you will call. Okay, that part only differs, but more or less it's same. But the main difference is that to implement these two methods. Okay, so the original business logic that will that contain these two methods, that will differ, means in every assessment. Okay, so this you have to implement very carefully. So here if you see the first method, find delivery type method, so what this method will do, here you can see that find delivery method, this method will take two input parameters. Okay, this is done. The method will find out the delivery type of a given baker id based on the boolean values of the online delivery. The method will return string values online available if online delivery is true, else the method will return the string values online not available. If no bakers with the given baker id is present in the array, the baker object then return should be null. Okay, so that you have to implement. So here you can see that I have passed this object, array object. Okay, and this array object of baker's class and the baker id. So this array contained 4 baker objects. Now I am iterating one for loop for int I equal to 0, I less than 4, I plus plus, and inside this array first what I will check that every object containing this array, the baker means what is the baker id of that object is equal to this baker id. Okay, so that is the first thing I have to check. So I am checking if this b object, okay, so I am checking this b object I dot get baker id. If this baker id, this is the integer values, so I am checking equal to operator here with this baker id. Okay, if this is equal to this baker id, then what I will do, so first I am checking this one. So if this is equal to this, then I have to check is online delivery method is true or false, because this is a boolean. Okay, so then I will check b object I dot. So here you can see that for every object, okay, we are not directly use that is online delivery method or this method is containing one attribute like online delivery. So that value or attribute we cannot directly use here. We can every time we have to use getter or setter method. Here you can see that get baker id, I call this method. Now I will use that get, not get, it is online delivery. This method is online delivery. So if it is a true, okay, so if it is true, I am just calling this, so this method will return either true or false. So if it is true, then what I will do is equal to, I will assign this string, I will assign this string that online delivery available, or what it says here. Here you can see online available. Okay, so this value I am copying from here and pasting. So if it's true, then I am writing this online, else s equal to, I am assigning the values of s equal to the another one, what it is, online not available. Okay, online not available. So I am copying this and pasting here. Okay, online not available. Okay, so it's done. Okay, now I am returning, and if this is done, then I will do break. Why I will do break? Because I send one baker id, and if this baker id matched, then I don't require to iterate the whole loop, because here you can see that it's mentioned that no two bakers have the same baker id or baker rating. Okay, so one object, if one object containing this baker id, that means you never got the second one, because this is the condition. Okay, so if this condition satisfied, then I will break it. Okay, so I don't iterate the rest of the loop. Okay, and then I finally return the s. Okay, so this is done. Now excuse me, now I call this method from the main method. Here you can see that this method will take input parameters, find method. Okay, here find delivery method, the main method should print the type of delivery as online available or online not available based on the string values returned by the method. If the return value is not null, if the return value is null, then the main method should print there is no booker with the given id. So that part I am implementing. So I am calling this method from this main method. Okay, so from here I am calling this method. So what is the method name? This is the findDeliveryType, and these two parameter you have to pass, and parameter value I already, here you can see baker id I already read, and the object baker b object I, so that I also already means create the object and populate this array, okay, with that object value. So I will call this method. So first I am checking if I am calling this method, and here this type of this attribute you have to remove, because you have to just pass these two parameters. Okay, so if this, then what I will print, if this is a true, then I have to print the means what is whatever the return type. Okay, so whatever the return type, that is this method will return some values, string value, so that I am printing here. If find delivery type, okay, it's id, oh sorry, it's okay, a big okay, it's instead of, okay, I am using the same name here. Hmm, 1 minute, it's a baker id, cannot convert from string to boolean. Okay, first one is what happened. Oh, okay. So first I have to check if it is a null. Okay, if this is equal to null, then you have to print this value. Okay, so okay, I am using the if condition. So if it's expecting some true or false, so if it's a null, that means I have to print that there is no bakers with given id. Okay, so this one. Okay, now if it is not null, else I have to print the message, the return type this method will return, that is a string type, so that string I am printing here. Okay, so that's it. Now the second method, so I have to implement the second method. So first method everything is done. For second method, you can see here, so first implement the second method, then we will call it from main method. So here for the second method, here you can see that find delivery, this one done. Then sort price rating method, this method will take an array of the bookers object and a char values for the booker class as input parameters. The method will return an array of bakers object with the given input baker, that is the character values after sorting ascending order of the Booker rating. Okay, and then you have to sort this array, okay, based on this input. Okay, so what we'll do, so for sorting, and this sort should be the sorting it an ascending order of the Baker rating. So ascending order of the Baker rating you have to sort. Okay, so first you have to check that if whatever character value you have passed this Baker class, if it is matched. So for that, what you will do, write a for loop for int I equal to 0, I less than 4, I plus plus. Okay, inside this for loop, what I will do, first I'm checking if this baker object instance, baker object instance of I, means the ith index I am checking, if this dot get baker class. Here you can see that baker class method is there if it is equal to this baker class. Okay, so the object whatever contains the baker object, baker array, if that object dot get class is equal to this baker class, then it is eligible. Okay, so then it is I will sort these values. Okay, so before doing that, what I will do, I just means suppose in first position it is matched and fourth position is matched, so I ignore rest of the position. So what I will do, first position I will keep in the first position, and whatever match after that I will put it into the second, into the third or fourth, how it will come. Okay, so for that what I will do, here I am declaring one variable int j equal to 0, j equal to 0. Okay, and here what I am doing, basically I just copy this value, and here instead of I start the j from jth location, so j plus plus equal to I. So whatever I means found any match, that object I will means picked up from that location, and I will store subsequent locations. Means for 0 first I will keep in the 0th position, then first position, then second position, like this, and next of the values I can ignore because that is not required. Okay, so after this for loop, means every iteration of this for loop, so what it will check means whatever value it's matched, baker class value, if it is matched, then I picked up those object and put it in the same array from the ith location. Okay, if two match, then I can take the 0th and 1th position, mean two, these two position values I can take. Okay, so this is the iteration, first iteration. Then I will check if j greater than 0, that means there is at least j greater than 0 means there is at least one match condition happened, at least one match was there. So if this condition satisfied, then what I will do, I create okay, so I have to create one baker array. Okay, and one baker objects. So for that I am taking bakers, one instance of a bakers object, bakersName, that class. So this is the instance of this baker class, and another array you have to create, bakers b, and I don't know the size of this array, so I am not instantiating anything, so I am just create the reference, and I am putting it null. Okay, and if j greater than equal to 0, then that means there is all at least one match. So in that case I am create a array this b, so I just instantiation here, means no, sorry, I that declare one reference. Okay, and I am instantiating here, so b equal to bakers new bakers, and I am giving the size as with j. So if suppose the 3 match done, so I am creating one new array of bakers class, and size of that array would be 3, and if 2 matches, then size will be 2. Okay, so based on the means how many condition matched here, based on that value I am creating this array. Okay, now inside that array what I am doing, I am writing one for loop once again for int. I have to means as ordered this, sort this array. Okay, based on the rating. So int I equal to 0, I equal to 0, I less than j, because if there is a 3 values, then I have to iterate 3 times. If 2 values, then 2 times I have to iterate, and then I plus plus. Okay, so this is the first inner loop. Okay, and sorry, this is the outer loop, and inside this outer loop I am writing another inner loop. Okay, for int k equal to 0, k less than j, k plus plus, k plus plus. Okay, so this is my inner loop. So inside this inner loop, what I will do, inside this inner loop, what I am doing basically, I am first checking that if this object, I already ordered this object based on the matched values. Okay, so if this value, this object value dot, so I have to means make the sorting, means I have to sort the array based on the rating. So I'm checking the baker ranking. If it's less than, the kth array, dot get baker's rating. So if the first value is less than the second value, then what I will do, I will just swap both the values. Okay, so just notice this part carefully. Okay, so what I am doing, I have two for loops. One is the outer loop and one is the inner loop. So inside the inner loop, for every iteration of the outer loop, inner loop will be iterate jth time. Okay, suppose there is a 3 match, then 3 times it will iterate, and every iteration what I am checking, if the first value of that array, okay, whatever the value it's containing, if the rating of that object is less than the rating of the next object or the same object, if less than, then what I will do, because I have to order in ascending order, so if it's less than, then you have to swap. Then how you will swap? So temp, this is basically the reference of the baker's object. Okay, so here I am putting, means first picked up the ith position value, then inside the ith position value I am keeping up, means I keep the kth position values. Okay, and finally inside the kth position values I am putting the temp values. Okay, so this is basically a simple swap. So what I am doing means, if the rating is less than, the first rating is less than the second one, then what I am doing, I am picked up the first one, I take the values of the second one and keep it up in the first one, and then in the second one I am keeping the first values. So it's a simple logic. Okay, and now you can understand that after the every, means after this every inner means inner loop, for one ith values, inner loop will be iterate 3 times. If there, suppose there is 3 matches, 3 times, and after every, means after inner loop iteration, means if it's complete all the iteration of inner loop, then the first position value will be sorted with the at least value of rating. Okay, so it's a ascending order, right? Yes, it's ascending order. Okay, so first value will be the smallest, then or similarly for the second iteration of the inner loop, the second position value will be fixed, and means so on, means after if there is a 3 matches, then after 3 iterations all the value will be sorted. Okay, so this is done now. So in outside of this if statement, what I will do, I am just copying the value from I to this new array. So int, I am writing int I equal to 0, I less than j, I plus plus. Okay, and I am, means whatever after the sorting, what I do means from the b object, so b object now is sorted. Okay, b object sorted based means not the whole object, means if there is a 3 matches, then the first 3 values will be sorted. So that 3 value I am picked up from the this b object to this b array. Okay, then bi equal to b object I. Okay, so and finally I am excuse me, finally what I will do, I will return this p, because this method will return the array, sorted array of the B object. Excuse me. Okay, so from here I am returning, so outside of this loop what I am returning, return B. Okay, and for returning B, so here this array will return the, instead of void you have to, it's returning some bakers, bakers array it will return. Okay, so this logic is done. Now if you see this one, for find mode deliveries, okay, for sort bakers rating class method, this main method should print the baker ratings in the same order, as receipt. Okay, so here you have to print this, so this method will return this object in sorted order, and here it will print that array. So for that what I'll do, here also I am declaring bakers, one bakers array, and giving the name as B, suppose, equal to, I am calling that method. Okay, so the method name is this, so I am calling this method with these two parameters only. From here I am calling this method. Okay, and removing this type of these parameter values, this one also you have to remove. So I am calling this method with these two parameters, one is the baker object and another is the baker class. Okay, now what I'll do, I have to check that the return type. Okay, if it is a null, then what I will do, so first I have to check, so this method, so here I am checking if B equal to null, that means there is no matched found. So if there is no matched found, then what it will print, okay, there is no bakers with given ID, so this message it will print. If, okay, so I am printing that message, there is no bakers with the given ID. And if it is matched, if there is any matched, then what I will do in the else part, what I will do in the else part, I'll means sort this, means print all the values. So what I will do, so for, I have to write on for loop, for int I equal to 0, I don't know the length of this array. Okay, so I less than, so how, so I have to means call the length. Okay, so this array dot length, so I am calling b dot length method and I plus plus, because I don't know the length of this array. Okay, so how many times I will iterate this loop, I, for that I am calculating, means calling the b dot length method. Okay, so b dot length will provide you the length of this array. Okay, and now I will print the, here you can see what you have to print, you have to print the length greater than 0, otherwise the main method should print the bakers with the given class is not present. Oh sorry, this is the first method, so here this one, bakers with the given class is not present. Oh, this method, this is the message basically. Okay, so here instead of, so this is the first message I already have written, this is the message for the first one, first method, and if this is not matched, then it will print that bakers with given class is not present. And now if it's matched, then what I have to print the bakers rating in the same order received. so in ascending order basically. So in the same order I got this array with the ascending order of the baker's rating, so that rating I have to print here. Okay, so bi dot get rating, baker's rating, bi dot get rating, so that you have to print. So this is everything is done. Now I am executing the code with the given input set. Here is my given input set, it's already given into the assessment, so I am copying this input set here. Okay, and I am executing the code with that values. Okay, so here you can see online not available 4.2, 4.55, 4.6, and the expected output online not available 4.2, 4.55, and 4.6. Okay, so here I am pasting this value. Okay, so here you can see that I call. So okay, so for once again what I am doing, if you see the whole code here, so here you can see that this is my main method. Okay, so inside main method I have declared all the parameters, okay, all the attributes, and every iteration what I am means there is a I have to create the for object. Okay, so for that I iterate a for loop 4 times, and in every iteration I picked up these 4 values from the console and create the object, and then I am assigning that object to this array, baker's array. Okay, and so after 4 iteration it will create 4 object, and that 4 object I am assigning this 4 consecutive array location. Okay, and then I am calling these two methods. Okay, these are the static methods, so I am calling these two methods with this array and the values whatever it's mentioned in the assessment. So here you can see it's a baker array and it's a baker id, baker array and the this id. Okay, now in here you can see that if you see the implementation of this method, then you can see here that for the first cases I send means call this method with this baker array and the baker id, and if this id is matched with the array object values, then what I will do, I just means check that if online delivery is true, then I am means corresponding string value I am populating with these string values, and I am returning that string. Okay, so if it is a present, then it will print some message, or if it's not, online availability is not present, then it will sufficient message or appropriate message it will show. That's it. And for the second method, if I also called with these 2 values, one is that object and the array object basically, and the character values. And first I am checking if the object, every object into this array is matched with these character values, then what I am doing, I picked up those object, and I am means ordering in ascending order basically. I sorting this array in ascending order of the rating. Okay, so based on the rating I am ordering that array, and finally I am sending that array again. Okay, so this b, inside the b array I have put all the means ordered values, and then I am sending that array, and based on the return type I am printing inside the main. Okay, so that's it. And here you can see that the baker's class, so this is a simple class, so here you can see all the attributes is present, and the setter and getter methods, and the parameterized constructor also here. Okay, so here you can see that the parameterized constructor, and inside the main method I call these two method. Okay, here you can see that I have called these two method, and based on the values I print this message. Okay, so first I am checking if the first message is null, means if it's returning null, then I am printing this message, else I am printing all the delivery types. Okay, not delivery types, this method whatever the string value it is returning, that value I am means printing here. and for the second method I am checking if the array equal to null, then I print this message, and if it's not null, then I am iterating, means I am printing the rating. Okay, and these rating are basically the ascending order. Okay, that I already implement into the second method. Okay, so that's it. So now again, if I change, suppose if you run it once again, and if you change the values. Okay, so before doing that, just change the value. So instead of b, if you put x. Okay, so that also not match, so you will get that message here. Here you can see that the second error message you are getting. Okay, bakers with the given class is not present. Okay, online not available, and the second message it will print. Okay, and also for the first one also you can get the that message. So if you suppose instead of this value, if you change the values, suppose this one, and now if you execute it once again with these values, then for the first one also you will get that message. So there is no bakers with the given id. Okay, so that is the thing. And here if you okay, so here you can see that. Okay, 1 minute, I am just explaining this input once again, that how it is working. Here I am pasting this value. So first time I called this with these values basically. So here you can see that for this value it's a false. Okay, so for this id, the online available value is false, so that's why it's first time it's giving you given the this output. Okay, if you see the output values here, so it's giving you given that online not available. Okay, online not available because this value is false. Okay, this value is false. Here you can see the value is false. Okay, and another thing, you have provide the b. Okay, so the b character you have means for the second method you provide this b. So for b you can see there is a four ratings, three ratings, three b matches. Okay, first one is the c and rest three are the b. So for this rest 3 you can see that rating is 4.6, 4.2 and 4.55. Okay, so if you ascending, or means if you ascend means ordering this with in ascending order, then the 4.2 is come first, then 4.55 and 4.6. Okay, so here you can see that 4.2, 4.55 and 4.6. Okay, so this is the basically your output. Okay, so this is all about this assessment. Okay, I think you guys are okay with that, and you can properly understand the logic and how to implement this. Okay, so if you have any question or queries, you can put it into the comment box. Okay, and also if you like my channels, you can subscribe my channels, and you can share with your friends. Okay, and you can click on the bell icon, so that once I upload the next video, you will get the notification. And also you can subscribe my channel to get all these type of assessment, okay, that I have already solved, and I will solve from means whatever the TCS will conduct in the next OPA exam. Okay, that I will also solve. And in also you can see in my channel all the Java related videos, code Java, advanced Java, and website design related topics. Okay, that also you can I already have covered, and also I will means going forward I will cover more videos, so that also you can watch. So thanks for watching this.